Hi friends, Shannon here. I'm here today to recreate a card that I shared with you on the last Spellbinders releases for, let's see, I did March, April, and May, I believe. So I think this is a May release. This is from the Magical Fuschia, and this is in coordination with Alex Siberia Designs and Spellbinders. So this is a release from her. I'm going to use the Magical Fuschia dies, and then I'm going to, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do this on camera, but I'm going to hot foil a sentiment. It depends on how much time I have left. I try not to let these videos go over 30 minutes. If we're close to 30 minutes, I'm going to cut it off. We won't do the hot foiling, but if I'm not, then we're going to do hot foiling also. So what I'm going to share with you today is, before I get to how we're going to go over the card, what I want to tell you is about my giveaway. So I'm giving away today some ink pads. This is a set of 27 ink pads, or ink cubes, and 2 re-inkers by Impression Obsession. So they have gone out of business since, and so I picked this up at a discount, and I wanted to give this away since I'm going to be using Impression Obsession inks today. Whoops. I'm also giving away 5 ink cubes, and these are from Concord and 9th, and I think this is the 2025 or 2026 release, minus 1 that I kept for myself because I was missing that from my set. So I'm giving away, this will be 27 and 5 is 32 ink pads, ink cubes. Keep confusing the two. Ink cubes. And to win this giveaway, there is in the description box below an entry form. So you complete the entry form, and also you need to watch this entire video so you can collect all of the secret words as I give them throughout the video. So that's the giveaway. And next I'm going to tell you about how a little bit about my process of how I start putting together my cards. Now what I did with this is I started by looking up fuchsia online. I googled fuchsias because I did not know what they look like. I have the example on the cover here, but I wanted to try to maybe see if I wanted to venture off in my own direction, maybe in a different color scheme, etc. So I looked up the pictures. I'm not going to show any of those pictures to you because there's, copyright and etc., etc. I don't want to get in trouble for that. So what I did was I looked up the fuchsia and I found one that I liked. Then I pull out my swatches. And this is what I would recommend all of you to do is, if you have colored cardstock, is to swatch all of your colored cardstock. Now this is just my Spellbinders cardstock. I had all of the colors of their previous cardstock. I think it was called like Essential cardstock. And I also have all of the colors of the Color Wheel cardstock because I bought the big bundle pack with a sample of all of the colors. I think there was 3 or 5 each of, it was a big pack, huge pack of cardstock. So what I do is, since now I'm going to recreate this card, but what I did with the pictures on Google was I tried to match the color of cardstock with my swatches and come up with a color scheme for creating my card. That's how I created this card. So now I'm going to recreate this card, and I haven't written down the names of the cardstock, so I pull out my swatches and I'm swatching going, let's start with the leaves. So what I do is I put my cardstock next to the lightest color, because what I've done is I've ink blended on cardstock, so I'm going to check the highlights of each of the different color die cuts on my card. So I can see it looks like I used peridot cardstock. So then I grab some peridot cardstock. I also look in my scrap bin and collect scraps of my peridot cardstock. Next I'm going to go to the pinkish color, and that looks like that is fruit punch, so I grab a piece of fruit punch cardstock, etc., etc., until I have all of the colors to create my card. So the background is, that is called Fairy Tale, and the dark purple color that I'm using here is called, I think it's Royal Purple, if I remember correctly, if I can find it. I'm not finding it here. Here we go. Royal Amethyst. So I'm using Royal Amethyst, and that is all of the colors for my card. So the next thing I'm going to do is, and this is another thing that I recommend that you do when you're an avid card maker or even scrapbooker, anytime you are using inks and cardstock, you should always swatch them. So I have tons of different brands of ink. So we're going to start with my Impression Obsession inks here. I have them tabbed. And this book I got from, this is an 8x6 album, and it's just the cover that I purchased, and that I purchased from Echo Park. And then I also purchased the, these are the 2x2, they're 8x6 pages with 2x2 pockets so that I could do a swatch for each of my ink colors. So then I'm going to grab my card here that I've already created, and I'm going to look and bring my card up here, and I'm going to decide what colors I'm going to use for my inks. And so now I'm looking at my darker colors, not the highlight colors. So I look here and it looks like ruby would be a good color, and also deep rose. That would be another. So I think I'm going to select both of those, and we may use one, or we may use both of them. Haven't decided yet. So now I'm going to go for my where the Royal Amethyst cardstock is there, and I'm going to select. I don't want to go with dark plum. I think we're going to go with thistle and royal purple here. We'll try both of those and see how that works. Oh, I forgot my green. So let's look at the green. And it looks like I'm going to select probably pine, maybe turf, maybe both of those. So I'll be right back. I'm going to grab my ink pads and we're going to get started. So I'm going to give you some die cutting tips that are for beginners and maybe even seasoned veterans. First of all, oh, and I also forgot to tell you when the giveaway ends. The giveaway, you have until June 10th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Are we in Standard or Daylight? Well, whatever time. Pacific Time Zone. 11:59 p.m. on June 10th to sign up for the giveaway. And also, I wanted to mention, the reason I am doing the giveaway is because I am promoting the Scrapbooking Fun Summit. If you are interested, the summit is starting. The kickoff starts Wednesday, which will be today that I'm recording, June 3rd, and the videos start on Thursday, June 4th. So if you don't have your free ticket yet, there is a link below to get your ticket to the Scrapbooking Fun Summit. The Scrapbooking Fun Summit is not just scrapbooking. It's all kinds of paper crafts. There is lots of card making, there's mini albums, and scrapbook layouts. So, and I know there's other things, there's like Copic coloring, lots of other things that paper crafters do. So definitely get your free ticket. And if you are interested, the VIP ticket, you get an early bird sign up. If you sign up by June 3rd, I believe, is the cutoff of the early bird tickets for the VIP. Anyways, and that includes long-term access to all the videos. If you get the free ticket, there's only 24 hours access to all of the presentations. So if you're interested in the VIP, you want to get that as soon as possible because the prices go up on the freebies, or on the VIP. Okay, anyways, now to give you the tips, the die cutting tips. First secret word is going to be tip. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. Tip. I have several die cutting machines, and I've tried lots of die cutting machines. I've had the Gemini, I've had the Big Shot. Is that what it's called? Sizzix Big Shot. I've had the Anna Griffin Mini Empress and the Empress. I sold my Empress because I didn't need to have that big version of it. I use, for my large version of die cutting machine, I use the Spellbinder's Platinum 6. That is my favorite, the Platinum 6 out of all the die cutting machines. But my buddy that I use more often than any is the Sizzix Sidekick. Let me show you this little guy. And the reason I use it is I'll show you in just a second when I die cut my first items. I can push those plates through without having to crank it all the way. So I push it through till it hits the die, and then I crank it the rest of the way. And it saves me lots of cranking and lots of time waiting for the die cutting plates to go through like an electronic machine. So my favorite is the Platinum 6. My buddy that I use the most is the Sizzix Sidekick, which is this little guy. I use that for all my layering dies, etc. I use my Platinum 6 for my things like better press, hot foiling, and background dies. Let's see. I also have a Scout, but I don't use that as much as I use the other three. The Anna Griffin Empress I use for the ones that are larger than this, but smaller than the Platinum 6. So I've tried them all. Those are my favorites. Tip number 1. Have one plate that you use as your top plate. Don't cut into your top plate. This is a beginner tip. Keep one of your plates free of cut lines. Use your second plate to cut into all the time. But I want to show you, this plate is starting to warp. Make sure that you flip your cutting plate over when you see it start to get a little bit of a curve into it. So now this one's starting to curve, so I'm going to flip this over to the other side, and I'm going to put my paper down. Another tip for conserving cardstock. Now, I have been die cutting for many years. Maybe, let's see, 26, 8 years? Gosh, I can't believe I've been doing this for 8 years. Okay, so about 8 years I've been doing this. So I'm pretty good at conserving cardstock. If you put your dies right next to each other, you're going to use more cardstock than if you put your dies in different areas. And what I usually do is try to get them to the edge, as close to the edge as possible. So I'm not going to put these guys like, this over this way. I guess if you look at it with this example, I'm not saving that much cardstock. But when you put your dies together, because there is that border that comes beyond the cut line, you're creating a big gap of cardstock that could be used at a later time. So what I do is I put mine on the opposite edges of the cardstock, and it leaves a larger space of, and to me, more cardstock is, let's see, what's the word, is remaining, I guess. There's another word I'm thinking, I can't think of it right now. Okay, so let's see, what's our next tip? You conserve more cardstock, that's the word. Let's make conserve word number 2. Write that down. So let's die cut these 2 pieces. Another thing that I do is I put them, because there is that border around the cut of metal around the cut line, I will put them right up to the previous cut that I have on my cardstock, and maybe even overlap it just a hair. And on this one, on this machine, I don't usually use tape on my die cuts. I just squeeze the plates when I'm picking them up, and they don't seem to move. And this is probably a bad example. Nope, they didn't go over the cut lines. So see, I got right up close to these previous cut lines, so I saved more area of cardstock right here. My next tip is, this is not necessarily for this die that I'm using right now, but if you have that when you're cranking through your dies in your die cut machine and you hear that big thud after it cuts, or when it gets to the end of the cutting, that's because you have your die in this orientation. So it's going to have that straight cut line that it's ending on. So if you turn your die in, so it's in a thin orientation or a longer, elongating the orientation of your dies, then you're going to prevent your die cutting machine from having that thud and kind of working real hard to make that last cut. So when I put that through, my die cutting machine didn't struggle. When you have small dies like this where there's really small area, you'll find sometimes, and it seems like it doesn't happen a lot with Spellbinders dies, but I think they have a coating on Spellbinders dies, but don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. But if you find that you're having trouble poking out your die cuts and the paper gets caught in your die, and you're struggling to not puncture your paper when you're pushing it through, use a dryer sheet. And there's a couple ways you can do that. You can either take your dryer sheet and in the areas inside the cut lines, give it a little rub, put down some of that fabric softener from your fabric softener sheet, and that will help release the die when, after you've put the paper, it'll release the paper from the die after you put it through your die cutting machine. Another thing you can do, and I do this only as a last resort, if I'm really having like an intricate die cut or an intricate die that I'm having trouble releasing the paper from, I will just put my fabric softener, I'll double and triple it up and run it through my die cutting machine just like this. The only problem is, after you do that, then you use your die to cut the paper, is that the reason I use it as a last resort is because it adds a lot of fabric softener to your paper or to the dye, which in turn, when you use it on your paper, adds a lot of fabric softener to your paper, and it'll affect your ink blending because of the fabric softener will resist the ink in areas on your paper. So like I said, I use that as a last resort. Usually when I'm not intending, I don't intend to ink blend on the paper that I'm cutting. But I do use the fabric softener, and if, on this one, if there's tiny areas, I take my pokey tool and I'll just round that fabric softener up around that, and then I just give it a little rub inside the cutting lines, and that'll help release the paper. I forgot to show you my trick when I'm using the Sidekick to run my die cuts through. What I do is I put my die on the far end of the plate and on top of my paper, and then I put my plates into the die cutting machine, and I just push, and it's gonna go all the way up until it hits where that die is, and then I just crank the remaining way. So I end up cranking 2 or 3 times versus maybe 10 to 15 to get the whole plate through. So that's my trick for using the Sidekick, and that's why I love it so much. The one thing you have to watch out for is this handle is going to spin like a mother when it's going when you push those plates through. So you don't want to have your hand anywhere near that that handle, because I have experience with that, and it hurts when your hand's in the way. So there we are. I also forgot, or what I did was I grabbed another lighter shade of pink cardstock, and this is Pink Sand by Spellbinders. This is from the previous cardstock. I believe it's called it was their Essential Cardstock line. So that's Pink Sand. So let's make our next secret word Pink Sand, or phrase. Pink Sand, 2 words, is our next secret. And I'll just show you how I trim up my cardstock to save the remainder, and I got really good cuts from this without a lot of border around it, because I put my dies really close. I don't use 2 dies together, leaving a big gap, and that really conserves my cardstock. Let me throw that into my little scrap bin. And what do we have next? I'll be right back, and we're going to do some ink blending. So I'm going to run through this pretty quickly because I've already got 20 minutes worth of content already recorded. So I'm starting with the canary color, and this is the, goodness my words, stamen. I think that's what these are called, the yellow things in the middle. We're just going to do the tip, get those really, really inked up, as much ink as I can, get those really dark, because this color is similar to, the ink color is similar to the cardstock. So there we go, we've got the stamen. Just going full strength on that, and just clean that up. And I've got some hand sanitizer on my cloth, and that helps clean up the ink and make it so there's no ink remaining to contaminate our next color, which is Deep Rose. And here I'll show you a little bit of technique when we're blending. Now this one is, okay, we'll start with the one that's in front. This petal is in front. It's going to layer on top of this one. The stamen goes on top, and then this goes on top of that. So what we want to do is we want our ink to be darkest at the bottom. So grab the ink with my brush and just swirling counterclockwise around the bottom of that. I want to get the bottom of it nice and dark. Kind of let those bristles come up over. And now I'm going clockwise since I'm on the other side. Let those bristles come just slightly over. Just moving my brush in a circular motion. Grab a little more ink. I want the outside edges to be really dark. And as I switch sides, I switch directions that I'm spinning my brush, if you haven't noticed. And then grab some more ink. I'm going to tap a little bit of that off. And then I'm going to do just the outside edge of this petal. So we have a nice highlight on that. And here, this is going to be covered up in the middle, but I want to give a lot of ink because I want it to peek out from behind where that petal that we just inked, where that overlaps. I want to have a little bit of dark peeking out from behind. And then we're just going to go lightly around the edge of this one, leaving a nice highlight, that light pink color There we go. And we're still going to use the same ink color, and this is the die, or the die cuts from the B lettered die. These were from the A, these are B, here is C, and here is D. And these are going to layer up just like I have them right here. These small ones are going to layer up on top of the large ones. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the top of this light, but I want the ink to come from under where these small pieces layer up. So I'm going to come around at the tip of this petal and then just past where that crease mark is. A little more ink. Just past where that crease mark is. Do the same thing on the other side. Start at the tip, go switching the directions to make sure that I get that nice and covered. And I didn't mention it when I did it, but when I put the ink down on my glass mat, I do that so that I don't have the ink pad exposed to air while I'm doing my ink blending. I just put the ink down onto my glass mat, or you could, if you don't have a glass mat, you can use a piece of acetate or even some plastic packaging. You want something that's nice and smooth so that you can do your ink blending on, grab your ink, and it'll glide. The brush will glide nice and smooth over that surface. And in this instance, I'm using the glass mat. So just getting that ink to come up above that crease mark, just slightly. And then these ones, we're going to go full strength with that pink ink. Just completely cover them. I could have cut it from darker colored cardstock, but the die has these 3 pieces all on one die. So it's just easier to cut it from one color of cardstock. So that one is covered. Let's get the next one. Cover that up, full strength. Grab some more of that pink ink. There we go. Now I've already gone ahead and done the die cuts from letter C, and we need more ink. So let me put some down. Now these ones are going to go in this direction. So what I want the ink to come on this side because everything is going to be layered above it. These are going to be poking out below these die cuts. So I just want to create a shadow from the die cuts that are above it. A little bit on the edges. Now these, whoops, I'm going to set these over here. These ones are going to be pointing up the way they are right now, but they're going to connect right here. So I want my ink to come here and just peek out from where they're going to connect. Grab some more of that ink with my brush. Create a shadow. Go around the edge right there. I'm just swirling it on the glass mat and just touching the edge of it, trying not to get those bristles to come all the way over the die cut. Grab some more ink. Do the same thing with this one. A little bit on the bottom side of this right here. There we go. I'm going to clean this up, and we are going to put together one of these fuchsia on camera, and then I'll put everything else together off camera, and I'll let you see my finished product. And the next secret word or secret phrase is going to be finished product. Okay, let's put together this fuchsia. We're going to start with the stamen and the large part from die A, the large petals. Grab my tweezers, glue that down. Then we take, these 3 pieces are from B. We're going to put those together. Do we put those together? Yes, we put those together. me get my waxy tip pointy thing, my poker tool picker-upper. Put that down, then this one down. Then we put that on top of the stamen, just adding glue at the base there. Getting glue everywhere. I have a new bottle of glue in my glue press, so it comes out really heavy. I don't get the light glue that I get when it's lower on glue. Add glue to the base of this petal from die A. And that would be considered a small fuchsia there without that part. This is a small fuchsia. Now we're going to take this from letter C. Going to add glue at the base. Pick this up and attach that. There we go. Oops. Getting messy. Then we take the second portion from letter C, and we're going to attach that on top of all of them. Just like this. Whoops. To grab down there, so that it layers on those petals that are in back now. There we go, little glue buggers. Then we take this part from letter D, add a little bit of glue, and bring this up here. Then these two are last remaining. Actually, we can put this down. Just add glue to where we add that ink. Oopsie, got the oh, this is fun. Okay, stay together. We're going to poke this right under here, above the last one. There we go. Get back on there. Stay on there. Okay, and the final petal. Just poke that under there. And there is our fuchsia. We're going to add it to our little base here. And I'm going to give you, for those of you that are watching for the giveaway, I'll give you the final secret word, and it's going to be slow, because I move so slow. It's taking me forever to finish this project. But the reason I'm giving you the last secret word now is because the video has gone so long. So if you don't want to watch to the end, I understand, because I have kept you a while, and thank you so much for staying tuned for this long. But I'm going to put together the rest of this in just a second, and if you'd like to stick around to watch, I really appreciate that. If you're doing the giveaway, I also want to tell you, you have to subscribe to my channel, and also give me a like or a thumbs up for my video. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you like about this project, if you like anything at all, or just say hi. But leave a comment, and complete the entry form, and that'll be it. So I'll be right back, and we'll finish up this project. So off camera, I started putting these together a little bit. I put the leaves on the flower blossoms, and I put some leaves on this stem. I attached this bud and this these blossoms on this one. And here's my ink blended background, just so you know. I just went and did some ink blending all the way around it, so to make it have that kind of highlight in the middle, how that glowing effect. And so now we're going to put these together. Let me just add some glue to the stem. Move this over and pop it down. Let's see, how do we want this? I want it to cover all of the stems. Just like that. And get that extra glue that oozes out behind it. Okay, and do one more. I wanted to let you know also, if you sign up for the free ticket to the Scrapbooking Fun Summit, you can get a link. I'm going live with several of the presenters. We're going live doing a card making event, just talking about card making and techniques and all the little things that go along with card making. And that will be on Thursday, June 4th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And in order to be able to view that, you will have to join. The link for the Scrapbooking Fun Summit is in the description box below. You can join even if you get the free ticket and participate in the, or actually just view the card making. Gosh, I don't even know how to describe it. Card making event. I don't want to call it an event. Discussion, I guess. Card making discussion. And there's several presenters. In fact, I think there's somewhere around 8 of us that will be there chatting about card making. And that's on June 1st at 1 o'clock. Also, we're doing an organization discussion, and that will be on Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Pacific time, or 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to put this one on the card base so that I know how to angle these flowers so that we can get them all to fit on there, on this card front. So I'm going to put that about, I think right about there. So let's add some glue to all of this. And I wanted to let you know, I appreciate you guys so much. If you're still watching, you are a superstar. And I wanted to let you know that since you're still watching, I'm going to give you a bonus entry if you're participating in the giveaway. And if you are hanging around now, then you'll have the bonus secret phrase. And I want you to know the bonus secret phrase is, you are appreciated, because you are. You guys mean so much to me that you stick around and watch my content and participate in the giveaways. And it's just, it's very flattering to me to know that you guys are interested in anything I have to say or show. So remember, you are appreciated. Add that to the entry form. There'll be a bonus section, and what that will do is, when I see that, I'm going to double your entries. I will, what it does when you do enter the giveaway is I get a spreadsheet of a list of all of the names and all of the answers to the question. And what I'll do is, if I see you have that bonus entry, I'm going to copy and paste it so you have 2 entries and 2 chances to win that giveaway. Okay, let's see. But for those of you who aren't here, you're still eligible for the giveaway. This is just optional. This is an optional secret phrase. Okay, so we're going to glue this one down too. Now that we know how much room there is for it, I can angle it, and then we'll be able to angle those other flower blossoms so they all fit on the card front. Glue, glue, glue. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to do this. We're going to overlap. We got to overlap so that this one hangs out here. And we'll put, oh, we got it. There we go. That kind of looks messy right there, doesn't it? Well, it's glued down. It is what it is right now. Got glue on the top. I'll let that dry, and then we'll take that glue eraser and get rid of that stuff. Okay, so now we know how I think we're going to give this one a funky angle so it'll fit. Kind of hide that. Let's do this. I think that'll work. Okay. I think my dog is getting frustrated with me. I think she wants to go outside. She's digging at her bed right now, if you can hear it. Yeah, she's sniffing at me right now. So I'm going to have to glue this down and take a little break so I can tend to my puppy. Okay. Now the only thing I have left is to add the sentiment. The sentiment reads, "You brighten my day." And I ink foiled that, and that's from the Magical Fuchsia Better Press plates. There's 3 sentiments. One is Just Because. This one is You Brighten My Day. And there's one more. Let me grab it and tell you what it says. Just Because. Did I say Just Because? The other one reads, Make Today Count. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to sign up for the Scrapbooking Fun Summit. The link is in the description box below, and I hope to see you guys there. Bye for now.